Hi everyone on YouTube, my name is James Ursel, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 stride and swing left-hand piano techniques. So, stride piano is a vast subject, but at its essence, it's basically hitting a bass note, 10th, 7th, or an octave, and then hitting a mid-range chord, usually 4 or 3 notes. So, to get the feel for this, I'll play you a chord progression typical of this era. So here it goes. And if we're going to add some right hand melody, it might sound like this. So that's fine. You can go back and forth through that, playing that the whole time. Most people do. But you can also vary it up a bit and use something called rhythmic displacement or backbeats, where you would play the bass note and the mid-range chord not typically where you'd expect. So playing that same chord progression using this technique might sound a bit like this. Sorry. And adding the right hand. So that technique's actually pretty hard. It might take a while for you to master, but I surely haven't. But that's one of the techniques you can use. Okay guys, the second technique I want to show you is tenths in the left hand. Just to show you how versatile tenths are. I'll go through all the chord qualities in G, that are up to 7 notes. So typical G chord, for a 10th, you're always going to bring the third up 1 octave. So bring that B up to here. We want to do minor, augmented, 6th, 7th, major 7th, minor 7 flat 5, diminished. So, and when you're playing a 10th, there's only 2 types of tenths: major and minor. So if you're playing an F 10th major, or any major 10th, it's probably going to imply a F6th or an F7th chord. It's pretty unambiguous what it's going to imply. But if you're playing a minor 10th, say this 10th, A and C, that could be an F over A, it could be an F7, it could be a minor, just straight up A minor, it could be a D7. So with the minor tenths, you're going to need a lot more room for which chord quality it's going to imply. So now that we're familiar with tenths, I'm going to show you how you could apply them to rhythm changes in F. So here you go. And if we're going to add some right hand, it might come out sounding like something like this. So as you can see, very much richer sound. We'll say this, it can take a very long time to get those on your fingers. It certainly took me a long time. Even if you can reach them, it doesn't even mean anything really, because you still have to be able to hit both fingers very precise and at the same time and very crisp. But with practice, it's definitely possible. Okay, now I'll show you the third technique. This third technique is Teddy Wilson intros. Now, Teddy Wilson did a lot of intros and endings, but a lot of his followed this chord pattern. One diminished, two minor, diminished, flats on two, then to three. It's just basically F over A, then going back down. An example here is from China Boy. Something like that. So if we're going to make up our own in the key of A flat, might come out something like this. And you can always roll these. This technique can also be used, these kind of static tenths chords where you just hold them and then do something else with the right hand, can also be used for as an ending. So here's an example. Just another little example for you. Technique number 4 is going to be broken tenths. Now, familiar with tenths in solid form? If you break them up, they're super useful as well, especially at faster tempos where you kind of want to give your left hand a break from going back and forth. So if you're playing at the bridge of Honeysuckle Rose with tenths, solid would be like... What if you did this? Just a much very and just try to give it that bounce. Here's another example on rhythm changes. So yeah. Another extremely useful technique. Technique number 5 is going to be count Basie rolling left hand figures. So, Count Basie used to play things a lot like this. So, and if you add a bit of right hand, it might come out and sound like this. And it doesn't even, you can use this technique actually to play actual songs too, like on Ain't Misbehavin'. That's more around a slower tempo, but if you're playing more of up tempo, it might be used as more of a turnaround or an intro or something like that. But that's a very useful technique as well. Technique number 6 is going to be connecting major and minor tenths. So on a lot of these earlier songs that are at faster tempos, the chords wouldn't change much for a while. So like, I'm going to use an example of the song After You've Gone. And you can see like these chords are lasting for like two measures. So if you're just gonna, you can just play but a lot of these guys would use these connecting major and minor tenths chromatically, because when you're playing, say, on an E flat chord, this chord as well is kind of like an E flat over G. So you can always take advantage of that chord and then approach it with other tenths. So if you're playing After You've Gone, that first, just E flat, you can use those two in between. If you're playing it in C, F, B flat. That's like a very useful technique. Just playing through the chords of After You've Gone might come out something like this. So you can see they're using a lot of connecting with a major tenth to get to the, playing a D minor, F sharp to get to the G. Technique number 7 is walking bass figures. Now when you're playing a bunch of stride going back and forth all the time from the bass to the mid-range chord or tenths, you're going to want to sometimes add some walking bass just to give it some more variation. And a really good example I've found I'm going to show you is from My Blue Heaven by Teddy Wilson. It goes something like this. So you can see there that just, that is such like, that first of all, that is like such a cool progression. Now, if we're going to use that, I wrote out an example for us in the same, exact same figure, left hand, different right hand in the key of G might come out something like this. Now, you don't have to copy it verbatim. Say you're playing the last bit of All of Me. So adding that left hand bass lines can just make your stride playing so much more interesting. Hey guys, technique number 8 is going to be filled in octaves. So it's pretty self-explanatory what it is. It's just instead of playing an octave or a bass note, you fill it in with the fifth. Typically use the fifth or the fourth. So here's an example I wrote out. Waller did that a lot. You should check out his recording of Smashing Thirds, where he uses that device. Like everything, he did pretty masterfully. So there's another technique. Okay guys, techniques 9 and 10. I'm kind of combining, it's their Fats Waller techniques, and they're kind of mid-range devices that you just sort of stay in the middle range of the keyboard. But on a recording called Gladys, Fats Waller played something like this. So keeping the top harmony the same, and there's moving that bottom note. And when he's done that, then he kind of just holds one note, holds the bottom note as a half note, then plays that harmony. In this case, it's a G6. G minor 6, D, D7, then an E7 to go back to the... That is just like so cool. I don't know why. So I wrote out a little example, just kind of copying it a bit. So it goes more like this. Oh, sorry. Apologize. Okay guys, now we have 10 techniques, and now we will deploy them on Love, and we'll see how it comes out.